One ordinary day, Marson decided he wanted to play games far from the grasp of his computer. However, industry clones would not simply satisfy his twisted mind. Drawing from a familiar source of power, he had dreams of a new shape, one more portable than the rest. Fueled by his hatred for controllers, he set off to build a handheld of his own. But he does not yet know the depths he will travel for his dreamed up buttons, for the curse of electrical engineering lies ahead. Will he find the smaller screen from his visions, or will the universe push him to forge a new path?
I want to play more games. But there's something about turning on my computer and opening a game that's just too hard. And that's where I get work done. How can I violate that with evil video games? But I can't justify spending that much money to just have another device I can play games on. Remember that time I put a broken keyboard in my broken laptop? Well, I bought another one. I seem to have a growing collection of these. This one's just a wee broken though. But I know these things from the inside out. Let's just say trauma's a pretty good teacher. And the extended time I've spent with the motherboard, it just kept reminding me of something. But most importantly, it was $50. I swear I'm not lying. Here's the receipt. What was I doing? Right, fake Steam Deck. Basically with some mild gambling, some folding, some slight reorganization, I think I could crush it down into the right shape. I mean, it's pretty simple really. Just kind of take everything in the bottom half, and just fold it under, put some things on top, stack it up, and boom.
Hamburger.
With some help from PCBWay. More on them later. You may have noticed a small issue. Or, well, a big one. I need this screen to in fact not be this. It's kind of more like this. But you see, I kind of learned from last time that I really don't want to mess with the adapters and cables inside shenanigans. I really just want a smaller screen that'll run off the internal display connector. So I did a little bit of research. Yeah, I'm totally allowed to have this. Anyways, the important thing is I see EDP. That's like a standard that a lot of screens use. So I have to be able to find at least one, a small one, right? Right? $10. It took me 10 hours of scrolling through schematics, reading random Reddit posts, looking and scrolling through random websites. I don't even know how to convey. The plan was simple. Find a new screen, but small. The first contender, Raspberry Pi screens. They're actually the size that we're looking for, right? No, wrong. What is this, a brick or a screen? I don't want HDMI cables inside of this thing. I just want it to be controlled by the motherboard, okay? So we go back to our mission. Crazy story. Turns out there's a couple different types of connectors for internal displays. There's LVDS. I don't know, it's old. Then there's the MIPI DSI. It's for phones. Phones are good. They're small. The screens, they're good. They're small. High resolution. Wrong. MIPI is not an open or public standard. Random Redditor. So that brings us to embedded DisplayPort. Wait a minute. We saw that somewhere. That's right, the schematic. So it could be the 30 pin or the 40 pin or the 40 pin or the 40 pin. But I think it's the 40 pin. Right, because the schematic said it's 4 lanes, but it turns out 30 pin is only 2 lanes, so we need the 4 lanes for the high resolution. So then we go from the schematic and we follow it. Why do they only make replacement screens? Why has no one used embedded DisplayPort to make small ones? Why are the only options 15-inch and 13-inch? Who did this? This is an innovation. Okay, genius plan. We take this adapter for iPads, and turns out the iPad 3 and 4 actually used a cursed version of embedded DisplayPort. So if we just take an adapter for a 40 pin, it's too big. The iPad's too big. All right, iPad. Let's stay on the iPad idea. So we go to the iPad mini. That's not DisplayPort. Why is it Mippy again? And then I found it. The NV127H4M-NX1. Just look at it. It's perfect. It actually says 4-lane EDP. It's 120 Hz. Wasn't expecting that one. It's twice as bright as the original screen. Wait, why is the resolution only half of 1440? Wait, no. Okay. So it's a little wide, but hear me out. It may be 12 inches wide, but you know what else is 12 inches wide? That's right, the motherboard. It's literally perfect.
But Marcin, if you're building a Steam Deck and the screen takes up the whole front, then where are the buttons gonna go?
Shh, they already saw the thumbnail. They know where this is going. On the Steam Deck, I kind of hate how everything sticks out. Like, you can't really put a controller in your backpack. And the screen is just vulnerable. You know what's great for throwing in a bag? What am I doing with my life? Okay, so it has to work. It's literally my last resort. Look at all the things going for it. Shh, ignore those. So there might be a few things that could make it not work. Literally the only way I can check if it works at this point is to just plug it in. So I bought it. Finally, about time I took something apart. Wow, how nice of the previous owner to leave only one of the screws. Alright, it's time to speedrun. I need the screen out. I guess I should turn it off. Get pranked. No explosion this time. Boom. Motherboard has left the chat. What, do you expect me to know everything? Turns out the screen just has these long adhesive strips that you just pull out. Very satisfying. And then the screen just pops out easily. Yeah, like that. Wow, perfect timing. It's the new screen. There it is, very shiny and indeed very long. That is much less.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Which reason do you think it is? That's right. If you guess it's actually a 30-pin connector, you'd be correct. I would know, because I counted each and every one of them. Twice. This is not the right size. Turns out the screen had a 4K upgrade option. So I just need a new cable, right? Lenovo wouldn't design a whole nother motherboard. Okay, good news. Looks like the new cable actually fits. You know, if this is wrong, it'll probably blow up my screen and my motherboard too. I'm stressing. Okay, I'm ready to pull this connector whenever anything goes wrong. Holy shit. Huh. I've never seen that before. Oh, yes! 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 I'm so incredibly happy right now.
Ate my screen. Save the other half for later.
It just worked. It's a hard 20 hertz too. It's just working. Sorry about my noises. Let's just say I was in more shock than you could possibly imagine. So now comes the part where I actually have to put it into something and design things and casually fit all of this into something half the size, as you do. 'Cause my life would just be too easy if I did it.
No one warned Marcin how much of his life he would lose for this project. In all his time, he'd never fallen this deep into real engineering. With this shocking gamble actually paying off, he was a victim of excitement for what he was to build. With this task now clear, he was set on designing a wide DS like none had seen before.
So the plan is simple. Make, well, this a thing. This time, I'm doing it right. No drilling holes, no gluing in mounts. Like, I don't know who designed the last garbage. What? What are you looking at? So I just printed a couple tests. Huh? Why is the hole missing? A couple more tests. A few more test prints. Ta-da! I did it! What do you mean the enclosure's ugly? Look, my printer's just not big enough to print in one piece. Wait, what's that sound? Do you know who has massive printers? This video's sponsor, PCBWay. Whether complex sheet metal fabrication, CNC machining, or specialty 3D printing, let PCBWay do it for you. Just upload your beautiful 3D model to PCBWay.com, select your material, and get your free estimate. Did someone want 10,000? Oh yeah, they make PCBs too, and they're pretty dang good at it. Wait a minute, I can make a keyboard with that. So if you want to bring your next project to life, consider PCBWay. Thank you, PCBWay.
Marcin realized he had forgotten something, for he had no way to control his games.
I need a keyboard. And for some reason, no one makes a mini USB keyboard with a D-pad and a trackpad cutout and with DS shoulder buttons. And that's 13 inches wide.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, hey, look, I actually did it. It's my first PCB. Okay, let me explain. I'll be quick. Basically, I am not smart enough yet to design real electronics. So, turns out an Arduino Pro Micro can pretend to be a keyboard when plugged in. So it just slides in right here. Now, you might be asking, Marcin, how did you connect 42 buttons to an Arduino with, well, nowhere near that many pins? Button matrix. You see, a while back I hacked a piano into a MIDI with a fancy Arduino. You don't care? Oh, okay, fine. Basically, by alternating rows and columns to check, you can know exactly what button is pressed. Ah, okay, finally I can show you what else I got from PCBWay. That's right, my very own PCBs, designed by yours truly. I'm not trying to be a shill or anything, but these just look amazing. Like, so good I framed them. Sadly, it's time for me to butcher one of them. Yeah, those are quite literally DS shoulder buttons. Anyways, it's time for the Arduino to go in. Wake up, samurai. Sorry for putting you to sleep. I just think this looks pretty cool. Now I just need to make the Arduino think, therefore it is a keyboard. So I just yoinked my piano code and made a couple changes, and boom.
So bad.
So focused.
These buttons are interesting.
With extremely positive user feedback, we are a go for final production. Hold up. Some of you keen viewers may have noticed that I'm not actually using any of the USB port. So where am I plugging this in? You see, I do not fear jank. While I was looking through the schematic of my laptop, I noticed something interesting. The fingerprint sensor is connected with USB? Wait, so can I just splice into the ribbon cable and use it like a USB port? I hope this theory's right. I haven't actually tested anything, but I ordered all the parts, so we'll find out soon enough. Yes, I cut my own ribbon cables. And no, I did not buy ribbon cable connectors. I'm lining up pins that are 0.5 millimeter wide. And yes, I'm just screwing it into the PCB. Don't worry about my micro USB. I just cut it in half so it would fit. I can't wait to try and take this through an airport. Funny story, the fire alarm's going off. The light on the Arduino's on. The light's on.
Oh my god, it just works. It actually just works. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, I gotta evacuate. Hello and welcome to I Break Everything, the show where instead of taking things apart, we actually put them back together. All you are going to need today is a crosshead screwdriver. And scissors. We're going to start with the main body. This is the internal shell, the one that you see when you're playing. The first component is the trackpad. Slide it under the lip and screw in the trackpad bracket. Insert the trackpad cable. Be careful, it will rip in half. Now our buttons. Begin by screwing in the shoulder buttons. Don't worry, the flex in the plastic allows them to click. Now simply place the rest in their designated locations. Find your main controller PCB and place it into its location. Do not touch the ribbon cable. Next, your speaker assembly, which you actually stole from an S23 Ultra and soldered cables to. Now, set this assembly aside. Start the display assembly, take your hinge reinforcement bracket, and screw in your hinges. Don't worry, flipping the hinges wrong 3 times is part of the process. Now take your upper display housing and put in the other 6 screws. Route your display cable and attach the display extension that you hopefully didn't forget, because it took a month to get here. Lastly, attach your camera module that you added because you said you might as well have it. Now for a big milestone. Attach your ribbon cable to the display. And you will have to fold it a bit for it to fit. Ignore the reinforcing plastic and keep trying to bend it. Remember, if you hear this sound, let me replay that. That cable that took a month to get here? Well, congratulations, you just ripped off the connector. Yeah, he died. It was Jover.
The cuck chair.
So you broke a ribbon cable. We've all found ourselves in this situation, so I'm here to help. First, ask your nearest university if they have tools. Step 2, find out that your university doesn't have the tools. Step 3, use the wrong tool. These pins are 0.5 millimeter wide. So if you're using basically a glorified hair dryer to melt this point here, it doesn't work very well. Step 4, divine intervention. Find out that your lab literally ordered the tool that you need and it arrived while you were working on it. Very nice hot plate. An optional step is you just completely break it. You can skip this step. It's pretty stressful. And then you literally fix it because you're goated. What can I say? I did it. What were we doing? Right. Bring back the main enclosure and slide in the hinge bracket. This locks everything in place. Now, the last part of this half, the battery. There was no room for tolerances, so you have to shove it in there and attach the 2 screws keeping it in. Good luck getting the ribbon cables where you want them. They are under the battery now. We are almost there now. Here's the mid plate that I basically chewed out of a piece of aluminum because silly me thought it would be a funny bit. I am not laughing. This holds the motherboard in place and acts as a heat spreader so the CPU doesn't melt through the battery and explode. Now plug all your ribbon cables into the motherboard and realize that your trackpad stopped working. Check all the connections and give up. It is now the next day and the trackpad simply just works again. Finally, screw in the back housing. Good luck getting all those ribbon cables in. And wait, hold on. One last touch. The screen still isn't in. And congratulations. It's done. It's actually done. At points, I didn't think I'd see this day. It's honestly my most complex but also the coolest project I've ever done. The 3D printed nylon feels pretty nice. It was a bit more flexible than I would hope for, but that's a lesson for future me. The form factor is great. I hate joysticks for looking around. And before you make fun of me, the trackpad's good. It's the closest you can get to a mouse, which is the best. And it let me make the whole thing significantly thinner. By no means is it winning any awards, but compared to my laptop, which has the same internals, it's actually pretty great. The screen is actually incredible. It's a significant upgrade over the original, and it looks amazing. To my surprise, a lot of games actually support the ultrawide. And when you hold it up to your face, it's actually pretty immersive. It does fill your whole field of vision. And some games that don't support it, I can play the game and have the guide pulled up side by side. It's amazing. Sad story, but I actually got more into video games recently because there's something about online achievements that just gives me a shred of dopamine. To make me feel that I achieved something in my time wasted. Dang, society's got me messed up. The buttons could use some help. Forgive me, it's my first time making a keyboard, but the left and right click bumpers actually feel shockingly natural. I considered SteamOS, but I'm too lazy. Valve has significantly improved the gaming on Linux, but when Titanfall got stuck on compiling shaders for an hour, I decided to turn to the dark side. It's just still more compatible. Boo, boo, boo. Okay, why is half of the installer ads? I mean, Titanfall is still laggy, but I might have a solution for that. You seeing where I'm going? Next video, subscribe. Dang, I built this whole thing in 3 months. I mean, I'm basically a product engineer. Actually, you know what? If you have influence over hiring at a company in the US or Europe, I'm looking for a summer 2025 internship. If you're looking for someone that can do, well, this, please reach out to me here. I'd love to speak with you. Thank you all and PCBWay for making this possible. Hope to see you soon. wish I could play some games right now.